The word alone can be challenging. How do we get started? Where will the change lead? Don't sit there and worry about it. Be the change. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. Host Kristina Bloom has been a professional psychic and spiritual advisor for 20 years, offering psychic and mediumship readings for individuals and groups. She also teaches several classes in psychic development and metaphysics. In addition, she is an author who has published 2 books so far and is the co-owner of Moonbow Publications and Productions, LLC. Are you ready for that change now? Here is your host of Be the Change Radio, Kristina Bloom.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Be the Change Radio. I'm your host, Kristina Bloom, and you are listening to us on WLTK-DB.com. Let's Talk Radio. I'm so glad that you're with us tonight. I have a very special guest with me tonight. He also has a show on WLTK-DB, Paranormal Pete. We have Pete Orbea with us tonight. We'll be talking about all kinds of psychic things and ghost hunting things and all kinds of fun stuff. So stick with us. I have a couple of announcements this Friday evening on the 15th. I will be teaching a class online on astral travel. And it's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to all travel together and explore the universe together. And the people who've attended this class before have really, really enjoyed it. We just get to go exploring and seeing what's out there because, when we're just on planet Earth, we don't really know what's out there, do we? So it's kind of fun just to get out there and explore. And that class is at 7:30 Central Time, and it's on Zoom. You can find the class information on my meetup page at meetup.com/onespiritconnection/events/calendar. Just go to the 15th and click on it. All the information is there. Hello, Bonnie from Topeka, Kansas. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm glad that you're here. Let's see. My next thing that I wanted to announce was on July 30th. I am doing a drum circle and water healing ceremony on the shore of Lake Michigan at South Beach Park in Port Washington, Wisconsin. The spirits came to me and asked me while I was sitting on the beach down there to do a water ceremony because water represents emotions. And especially right now in this country and all over the world, emotions are running very, very high and it's clouding our thinking. Hey, we have Sherry and Jody coming in. Thanks for joining us. So if you happen to be in southeastern Wisconsin on the 30th, we'd love for you to join us for that. That also is on my meetup page where you can go in there and just click on the 30th on the calendar and all the information is in there. Tonight, like I said, we have Pete Orbea with us, and I was on his show a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I don't know. I've lost track of time, but we had so much fun that we wanted to continue the conversation. So we're bringing Pete on to the show tonight. He's got some stuff coming up too. So he has a ghost walk tour in Port Gamble, Washington coming up this Saturday. And he is also going to be speaking at the OC Paracon and doing readings there as well. And that's October 1st and 2nd. And he is doing the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, November 11th through the 13th. And I'm sure that he'll be giving us more information on all of those events. I asked Pete to come on here, like I said, because I was on his show and we had so much fun on his show, just talking about all of our experiences in ghost hunting and psychic abilities and all of that sort of thing. I really wanted to get into kind of, a lot of people say, well, why do paranormal investigating? What's the point? You either believe that ghosts are there or they're not. Hey, Steph, thanks for joining us. Either ghosts exist or they don't. In my experience, they do. But I have found that in doing paranormal investigations, we can help the living and we can help the spirit world by giving the spirit world a voice and also by bringing peace to those who are living with spirits in their home. Let's see what Pete has to say about that. Come on up, Pete.
Hey there.
Hey there, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah,
By
got
a
some
thread, but I'm hanging in there.
got some busy stuff going on there.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your ghost tour, your ghost walking.
Yeah.
It's a walking tour, right? Of Port
Yeah.
Gamble?
hmm
Okay, and what time is that this Saturday?
Well, it's normally 7 to 10, but the summer hours and the sun stays out later, so it's
Yeah,
8 to 11. So kind of a
great.
special time for that. It sounds like a really long, boring tour when you hear that it's 3 hours, but it takes every bit of 3 hours to get through all of it. And it's a lot of history and a lot of experiences, and it's a lot of fun. And hey, Jody and Linda,
Yeah,
everybody
hey,
saying
Jody and
hi.
Linda. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you're here. All right, so where did we leave off? I don't even remember.
I don't even remember either. It was probably pretty good then, right?
Yeah,
Like
right?
must have been, channeling or something going on. But
Yeah,
I've got an answer to your question there
yeah.
before you brought me on. People say, why do it? Why
Mhm,
do paranormal investigating? And simple answer would be, why not?
mhm.
Um, whoever says that, can they tell you definitively, uh, you know,
Exactly,
what's going on? None of us will ever really know until
exactly.
it's our time, but
Yeah,
why not? Why not look into the unknown, and why not expand our knowledge? And who knows, maybe medicine could improve if paranormal field of research continues, and keeps moving, in a scientific way.
yes,
Maybe
yeah,
medical advancements could be made.
yeah.
Why not? I guess those people hate people, because ghosts were people once too.
Yes, they were, except for the animals, right? Have you run into animals
I
in your
have, I
Okay,
have, and I'm kind of at the stage in my journey where I'm starting to see them more during readings.
mhm,
Like, someone's pet will show up, and stand next to whoever came to visit them. And I'm not quite sure if I'm getting information from the pets just yet, but I'm
okay.
seeing them, and it's kind of interesting because that wasn't something I that happened for me before. So that's kind of a cool thing to start seeing them. But now if I could just communicate with them, I just have to
Nice
work on it.
development, yeah. Just to share my experience with when animals communicate with me, they don't communicate in words. They communicate in images. So they show you what they're
Right.
seeing, or they show you, like they'll beam you a picture or whatever. But that's been my experience with animals. There might be some animal communicators that actually hear words coming from animals, but I don't. I just see the pictures.
Yeah. And that's how information kind of comes through mostly for me anyways, is images,
Okay.
a snapshot of a memory, things like that. So I need to
Yeah.
just practice, 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 practice.
And you get plenty of practice when you're doing ghost walks and when you're doing readings and
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Indeed.
So before we started the show, you said that you had a funny gallery story reading.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, let's hear that.
so I don't know how many people have been to gallery readings. If anybody watching, listening out there hasn't been to a gallery reading, find one and go to it. I know, Kristina, you do those
Mhm.
often. So if you're in
Yeah.
her area and you see that she's doing one,
Hi,
go.
Robin.
Hi,
Sorry.
Robin. No, no, go check it out. Gallery readings can be really interesting, and it's
Yeah.
and it is, I guess, in the paranormal field, when you see one on TV, it's pretty close to how it goes in
Mhm.
real life, I guess. If I'm comparing paranormal investigations on TV and how it really is investigating, gallery readings are pretty close.
Yeah.
So I I did a gallery reading at a local mall here, and there was probably uh I don't know, 25, 30 people there. I didn't really count. People were kind of stopping and sitting as they're walking by and checking it out, that sort of thing. And this one lady that was there, I started picking up on her dad and her grandfather, and I got the descriptions of what they looked like. I got the one had fought in World War II in the Philippines. I was describing what scenes looked like, and yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I got the height. I think I even got one of them, like how they died. I was getting all these details, right? Like just niching down on it, and I could see one went away, but it was just one of the guys was left, and I could clearly see him, and he was definitely communicating with me, giving me all this information. So I was getting all this validation, and then I said his name is Felicino, and I spelled it out. I said this is how it's spelled, Felicino, and she stands up, she's like, "Oh no, you're wrong. It's Felicino." But I had the spelling right, and then she was like, "Oh no, you're wrong. You're wrong about everything. It's Felicino, not Felicino. It's like cappuccino, cappuccino." But I was just inside. I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" Like I mean, I spent like 10 minutes giving details, about these people, where they had scars, all this stuff. Just all the good information that you want to get to validate to somebody. And then I even got the spelling right. Oh no, it's not Felicino, it's Felicino. You're all wrong. And everybody kind of had a good laugh, but
It is amazing though, because you can have it like that, and you get one detail that you don't, like you said, mispronounce the name, and it's not like it's a common name.
no.
That could easily be mispronounced. But yeah, it's just really kind of funny that sometimes people will just negate everything you just said.
Yeah. It was
Because
pretty
you
crazy.
mispronounced a name.
Yeah. Well, that kind of makes me think of something, and if I could ask you,
Yeah.
do you get foreign language information, like
I have
where you see it,
sometimes.
written in a
Yeah.
different language, but you know what it says, right?
Right. Sometimes I have, and not always. Usually I just ask the spirit world to give me a translator so that I can understand what's being said. And I get a translator. There have been twice when someone was speaking a different language through me that I
Oh,
didn't know. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. One was Italian and the other was Lakota.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's not an
I'm like,
easy language.
right. I was like, I don't know what I just said, but the man sitting in front of me was having a very emotional reaction. And he's like, I know what was said. I'm like, that's all that I don't have to know.
Yep.
I'm just
Yep.
a translator. I have no need for that information. But as long as you understood it, that's what matters.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's neat
Yep.
that you can ask for a translator too. I didn't ever considered that.
Yeah. One of my students is like, well, if you don't understand him, can you ask for a translator? I'm like, huh, there's an idea. I think I'll
Yeah.
ask for a translator. So, and I've been doing it ever since, and it works very, very well.
I will have to try that.
Yeah. Yep. It works really, really well. So, yeah, it is interesting though when we're doing gallery readings. And I don't know, do you do like in-home private gallery readings,
I
like for
have.
families and stuff? Hey, Steph, do you think you could use Google Translate?
Worth a shot.
Worth a shot, definitely. Yeah. Um, I love doing those. I love doing those gallery readings in the small ones in home, because you can be talking, or like I can be talking to one person and giving all this information, and they're like, I don't know. And everybody around them is going, yes, you do. You know exactly who that is.
Yep. Psychic
Yeah.
amnesia.
They
It's a
revert back to the comfort zone. Yes, they do, Pam.
yes. Yeah, I call it psychic amnesia. I've
Yep.
heard other people call it that, and it's, like I don't know how many readings go like this for you, but a lot of my readings, I think people leave going, "What in the world was that?" And then 2 weeks later, I get the email follow up, and like, "Oh
Yes.
my gosh, I asked this person, and I asked this person, and I asked this person, and oh my gosh, my grandpa was this, and da 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 da." And I'm like, "All right, now it makes sense."
Yeah, I get a lot of that. I do get a lot of that. Um, do you remember people's readings after you give readings? I mean, like if they called you a
Mm.
week later and asked you for details, could you give them?
A week later, possibly.
Okay.
2 weeks later, it's gone.
Yeah.
It depends on it. It really depends on what comes out of the reading. If it's something really deep and really emotional, I'll probably remember it for a little longer.
Okay.
Especially if it depends on how much I'm affected during the reading. How much
Exactly.
I get
Yeah.
zapped. But then, yeah, if
Yeah.
someone calls me a month later, I'm like, yeah, it's like a fresh reading every time.
Exactly.
I do take
Yeah.
notes though. I take as many notes
Do-
as I can until information starts going too fast for me to write it down. And so
Okay.
I usually will have some notes I can go back to and like, oh yeah, your grandpa or grandma so and so came through last time. Let's see if we can connect with them again, sort of thing. So I try and write down
Interesting.
names and stuff that I can refer to, because I'm always preaching on my show about writing everything down, and so I try to do it. Darn it.
Um, yeah, I don't take notes on other people's readings. Because I figured that first of all, a lot of the information is coming through me
Yeah,
isn't my information. I mean, it's not my information to have.
yeah,
So I have no need to use up, my own memory with that sort of thing.
yeah,
But it's really for them. It's really for them. And
yeah.
I have discovered that you can say whatever you need to say, and you can direct quote, and people will still hear whatever they wanted to hear anyway.
Right.
So
Well, that's human.
that's humanity. Yeah, that's being a human for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, wow. So are you busy with a lot of investigations these days?
Well, I've been hosting events mostly.
Okay.
I haven't been going. I think before too long, I'll probably consider going into people's homes, but I haven't the past couple of years. Just try to work remotely, work through pictures,
Okay.
of locations. But right now, summertime, my job's, really, really going crazy right now. So
Yeah.
I'm in this historic little town, if people who don't know, and it's a tourism place, big time tourism place. And so summertime just gets wacky. But I am hosting, some ghost walks and public investigations, and those have been really fun. It's the first time I'm doing them in the summer. Um, but those have been really fun, and we've had a couple experiences. My last investigation 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago. We heard someone growling. We heard footsteps, between multiple floors of the location. So that was pretty cool. I had some activities. That's what keeps me going.
It really is. I mean, if we went to 10 investigations in a row and didn't get anything 10 times, to be like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. That's the curse of what we do metaphysically, though,
Yeah.
is you can go anywhere and you'll find something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I think that I've people have asked me, have you ever lived in a haunted house? I'm like, that's not the right question. The right question is, have you ever lived in a house that wasn't haunted? Because the answer to that would be no.
Yeah. Or have you ever lived in a house that has like a take a number ticket?
Yeah.
That's more like it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I live in a townhouse. It's a row house, and this place has been haunted since before we moved in. I mean, it was definitely there's a lot of activity going on here,
Yeah.
and none of it harmful. I feel perfectly fine. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I don't know where you stand with this, but I have fairies in my office, and sometimes they mess with me, so that's always
Yeah.
fun.
I think, I just haven't I just I'm open to it. I you
Yeah.
know that that stuff's a little far out for me, but only because I haven't experienced. And I think if I'm open to it,
Hmm.
because you just have to be open to whatever, but I just haven't experienced it yet. And when I experience it, well, what it's like, personal
Yeah.
experience, and then we can talk. But
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
totally open to all that stuff. I just personally haven't experienced
Yeah.
or
I
noticed.
think that there's so much that we don't know,
Yeah,
that to rule out certain things just because we've not experienced them there's a lot of things I haven't experienced. I completely believe that they're legitimate experiences. I mean,
Mhm.
I've never jumped out of an airplane, but I know people who have. That's a totally legitimate experience. Just because
Yeah,
I haven't had it doesn't make it any less legitimate. So,
right, right.
yeah. And I
And
just think that there's so much we don't know. Go ahead.
exactly. Well, I was just gonna say that's why we have to have an open mind,
Yeah.
and not everybody is curious enough to want to learn or
Mhm.
understand and stuff, and that's okay too. Everyone's got their beliefs and how they were raised and everything, but people
Yeah.
like us, we're the ones keeping it open out there, right?
Yeah, we
You
sure
know,
are.
and I know a lot of people who are really open-minded too, so you just got to find the people.
Hmm. Yeah, it is fun though to have conversations with different people, like when I'm at events or whatever, meeting new people, and how different people just have different beliefs about things, and psychics totally believing in the spirits and the ghosts and all of that, but don't bring up aliens or Bigfoot because those don't exist.
It's all
Yeah,
one big thing. It's all one big sandwich. Come on.
it really is. It really is. It's different ingredients in a life sandwich. That's what that is.
Yeah. I believe in Bigfoot. Haven't seen him or captured footage, but I believe in it.
Yeah. Me too, totally. I have a Bigfoot spirit guide actually who has kept me alive through some stuff like car accidents and stuff I probably shouldn't have been able to walk away from. But that was the only times that I would experience him. And I can't say that I've seen him, but I felt like the arms around me and picking me up out of the car and setting me down and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So, that's the kind of experience where can I say for sure it was Bigfoot? I don't know, but I feel like it was. Let's
Wow.
see. I love Robin's comment here. Several years ago, I was told by a coworker that my beliefs were effed up. Welcome to the club, Robin. You're in good company.
Yeah. Yeah. And to all those people, I say you've got, three fingers pointing back at you,
Yep.
so go ahead. Gosh,
Yeah.
the things
It
people go
is.
through.
I know, right? And we've all gone through our own things, and I just find it really um, exciting to talk to other people about paranormal stuff. And I have myself surrounded by paranormal people. Like I've built myself this little bubble world, and I'm very happy in my little bubble. And
Yeah.
my bubble's expanding because I'm getting to know more people, and I just think it's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's totally. No one, whoever said you can't be in your bubble and be happy,
Right?
we all got to have that. We all got to have a sense of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I like what Bonnie said here. I believe in spirits. Bigfoot, perhaps something that is in another dimension and can come and go between. I've heard a lot of people say that,
yeah.
that
There's
Bigfoot is interdimensional.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's kind of like two camps, that have formed in the Bigfoot field of, interdimensional or relic species,
Yeah.
from thousands of years ago. And it's like, can it be both? That's what I say. You know, if you take the dimensional part out of it, if you think of these beings as a relic hominid, right? A relic species
Hmm.
going back millions of years, possibly, right? You got to think something with the intelligence that Bigfoot seem to have over a million years might learn to unlock the secrets of nature.
Right? I
And
agree.
that's how they maybe can hide in trees, like in the tree and come
Yeah.
out of the tree. Maybe they've unlocked the secrets of camouflage over a million years, right? When you
Yeah.
start to think about it like that, in that perspective, in what our version of time is, it seems possible.
It does. It does. Jessica has a good question here. She says, a medium told my husband he has a genie as a guide. What do you guys think Can we have genies as guides? And hi, Nikki.
Hello. Well, I'll let you take that one first, and I think I've got an answer.
All right. I don't see why not. I know people who have aliens as guides. I know people who have, well, I have a Bigfoot guide. I know people who have fairies and angels. I don't see why we couldn't have genies.
Yeah. And is it an actual genie or what we think of it, or to that medium, was it a guide who can help and grant you wishes, and it was more of a symbol? That might be something to ask the medium.
Yeah, that might be.
And that might actually give a little more insight into what the guide is there for. Is it a symbol for something?
Yeah. Hi,
And that's
Keith.
how they saw it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Keith. Well, first of all, Keith asked, "Have I ever been bear hugged by a spirit?" And he already knows the answer to that because he was there when it happened. But the other,
He
so
witnessed
the
it.
answer is yes. He witnessed it. He also says, if you can think of it, you can have it as a guide, and I completely agree with that. We have animal guides too.
Yeah.
She says he was big and blue. I really want to make an Aladdin joke right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Keith's right. Yeah, if you can
Yeah.
think of it, and why did you think of it? If it is some random weird thing, why did you think of that? Maybe that's because that's what it is.
Yeah. Keith wants to know if you've ever been bear hugged by a spirit.
Never been bear hugged, but I've been hugged
Okay.
by a child spirit, and that stuck with me for a couple days. That was really emotional, and it was ice cold around my waist. I could feel her arms go around me, and
Wow.
I'd been trying to get her to feel comfortable with me, and I took my hat off and was like, "Hey, you like baseball hats? You can wear it, or do you need a hug?" And then it was, and but it kind of stuck with me for a couple days. I had a hard time to stop thinking about it.
But Keith wants to know if that was disconcerting for you.
No,
No.
it was just I just knew that it was just a lot of emotions poured into a few seconds, and that's kind of what stuck with me with this girl.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. And
That's really sweet.
I told her I have little girls, at the time they were littler, and I was like, "Oh, I have girls too, and I'm a dad with all the bad dad jokes, and I'm not here to hurt you." So, no, it was not disconcerting to me at all.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Keith and I were helping a friend clear out. She had some paranormal stuff going on in her house, and we went to her house to help her clear out some stuff. And this was right along the shore of Lake Michigan. And there was a sea captain who had gone down with his ship in Lake Michigan like a couple centuries ago. And he was in her home and he kept trying to get her attention, and he got her attention, but she didn't know like how to respond and whatever. So she had us come over, and when he saw me, this sea captain just like went through a wall and just bear hugged me. Like, finally someone can hear me.
Ah,
So
nice.
that's what Keith was asking about with that for me. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. I ran into a really big guy once.
How did
that
that
I
feel?
that I mean, it knocked me back. I w- and I didn't see him. It was kind of before I started my psychic journey, and I just tell you, it felt like an offensive lineman that I
Wow.
ran into, and it was we had just heard we were on the first floor of this house, and on the second floor we heard somebody run the whole length of the floor, and so I shot up there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to see something," and I was just walking, like power walking, as fast as I could, and I couldn't see anything, didn't feel anything getting into the room, and then just like smacked into this guy, and it kind of knocked me back a little. And when I kind of caught myself, then there were an additional four what sounded like boots on the wood floor steps that went around the corner from the from the area that I just ran into something. And I mean, he felt huge, and that was freaky to me because I couldn't see anything, and I was just walking straight ahead and smacked in. It was like I smacked into a glass door.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had spirits walk through me, but it wasn't like it pushed me backwards. It was just, it's like they show in the movies, like the response that you get when a spirit walks through somebody. It was kind of
Yeah.
like, kind of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an experience similar to that where you've had seen like your own family members who have passed on?
And like had some
Yeah.
sort of physical, not that I can think of. Um, I guess with my grandparents, sort of, although I didn't physically feel anything, but
Okay.
I just was walking through my dining room one day, and all of a sudden, the image of my grandpa popped into my head like really strong, and so I stopped and because I felt it, felt the energy, and then I saw my grandma, and then I looked down, and they kind of had their hands out, and so I put their hands together, and then they turned and went into this light and just and they were gone. And then right after that, my dad called and said, "Your grandma just passed away."
Oh
And
yeah.
I
Wow.
said, "I know." But
Yeah.
I didn't physically feel that, but it was they seemed to be just bam, all of a sudden they were right there in front of me, and I had to put their hands together. And because my grandpa hung around, he waited for her for 16 years.
Wow.
'Cause he had passed away quite some time before she did, so.
That's incredible. Bonnie said that she has heard her mom, and I'm going to get to Keith's question in a minute. I haven't like physically had contact with my grandparents, but after my grandmother passed away, which was I think in October, and my grandfather had Alzheimer's, so we had the family come over for Thanksgiving to make it as normal for him as possible. And my mom asked me to set out a tablecloth. So I just reach into the buffet, I pull out a tablecloth, and I just dropped it folded onto the dining room table. And when I came back 5 minutes later, after no one else had walked through the dining room, there was a different tablecloth on the table.
What?
Her favorite one was on the table. Yeah, I had
Crazy.
chosen the wrong one. Yeah.
Oh.
So so it was, that kind of stuff has happened in my family, but
Yeah,
they're so used to communicating with the dead in my family that it's like, yeah, well, you're just in another form and it's fine. Whatever. I'll use your tablecloth. It's all good.
right. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's cool that you can have the, others in the family with like-minded thinking, and it's just
Yeah.
it's par for the course.
It really is. It's just so normal in my family. It's really
Yeah.
amazing. Keith wants to know, do you find as far as like taking pictures of spirits, do you find it easier to take a successful picture if you ask permission first?
I am horrible at pictures. They
Okay.
do not show up in pictures for me, but that is certainly something you should do.
Hmm.
They seem to like, to show up on my audio,
Okay.
a lot. Um, and so that's kind of their avenue to communicate from a physical standpoint with me. Pictures, yeah. It's always good to ask. Like even when I put a recorder out, I say what I'm doing, and I'm putting this here so that I can hear you if you want to say something,
Yeah.
you know. Uh yeah.
Wow.
I've never gotten anything in a picture.
I've gotten lots of stuff in pictures actually, and I do find it's better when I remember to ask first. Do you mind? Like, I was in a hotel in South Carolina, and they let me into a dining room that wasn't being used at the moment. I could feel spirits like all over the place. I could feel them everywhere, and I was taking pictures. I'm like, come on, guys, I know you're here. Will you please just step in front of the camera and let me take a picture? And the next picture I took, it had 5 figures in it.
Oh,
5
wow.
spectral figures in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
yeah, when I ask permission, I get a lot more accomplished. We have more questions coming in, but I think it's time that we take a break, a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Great.
On the weekend of October 1st and 2nd, Paranormal Perception and Unearthing the Supernatural invite you to kick off our favorite time of the year in Anaheim, California. Orange County Paracon, the first ever paranormal conference in Anaheim. You'll hear from and meet paranormal investigators, psychic mediums, get an explanation of palmistry, and sit in on a seance conducted by the Hollywood good witch, Patty Negri. You can ask questions of all the guest speakers, including WLTK-DB's own Nicole Strickland and Paranormal Pete Orbea. Enjoy 2 days of paranormal speakers and spooky vendors. Single or 2-day general admission as well as 2-day VIP tickets on sale now. All info and tickets can be found at ocparacon.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Be the Change on WLTK-DB Paranormal Talk Radio. My name is Kristina Bloom. I'm your host, and I am here with Pete, who is the host of another show on WLTK-DB, Paranormal Pete, on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Yeah,
Pacific.
that's right. 8 Pacific. Yeah. Yep, I love doing Pete's show because it's a late night show. All right, so let's get to some questions. So Jessica says, so why do we keep having dreams of the same person over and over? What do you say to that?
Well, it's probably somebody trying to get your attention if they keep coming to you. Best thing, in my opinion, you can do is ask them what are they there for, and ask, to make sure, are you here for my highest and best purpose? Because you certainly don't want to be talking to something that's not. but just ask who it is, and then maybe try and write. Here we go with the writing again. I'm always preaching it.
Take notes.
Try and write down anything you can remember. But, and it's hard in a dream state, right? Unless it's a lucid dream to remember, oh, I should ask them a question. Yeah. But to me, that seems like probably someone who keeps coming, keeps trying to get your attention about something.
She says, well, they keep showing me my friend and she has not passed on, but her mom has.
So maybe the mom is trying to get a message to the daughter.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. I tend to dream about people who are alive, but I haven't seen in, decades. So I have no idea what that's about either. But I do find it interesting. Let's see. Nikki says that she has felt a presence rubbing her back in a comforting way in the middle of the night when I've been all by myself trying to sleep. As long as you feel comforted by it, I would say you're in good shape. Yeah.
Kick them off the bed if you're not.
Yeah, exactly. I actually really enjoy it when something like that happens because it's like, oh, good. I just feel safe and I feel comfortable. I like that. Bonnie wants to know, do you use any background noise such as white noise? I assume that means during paranormal investigations or when you're trying to hear something.
Yeah. Well, for me, audio's like hearing is really important. I play music and have since I was a little kid. And so audible type stuff, I really am, it's like a magnet. I go over to that direction. I've used a spirit box a lot, but I'm trying to get away from sweeping and just sitting on a static channel and seeing if anything can come through there. So I do use, some sort of white noise sometimes for investigating just to see what happens. My dowsing rods usually they're usually pretty fun.
Yeah. And very active.
To make a connection. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't use white noise. I find that it gets in the way of my hearing messages. But I haven't been on an investigation with other people in a long time. So once I start going out with my paranormal group, then, then I'll be able to see how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting. I can hear noises like through fans, through the air conditioner, through the refrigerator. That's when I hear like distant voices, and that's when I'm not trying. So I know in a place that I lived years ago, the landlord had passed away, and we had window air conditioners, and I had on the window air conditioner in my office at the time, and I was listening to the Milwaukee Brewers game through the air conditioner, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to work. Can you go to the other room and listen to the Brewer game? And it stopped. Like it just stopped, and it started playing in the other room where we had another air conditioner.
That's funny.
I know. I'm like, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
funny.
I guess, I mean, I've used some of the equipment. I don't actually have any equipment because I'm usually on the psychic team. So if I have any equipment, it's just my camcorder, but I don't usually have the equipment set up. I'm just listening and,
Mm-hmm.
Paying attention through that. But yeah, I've used the spirit box. I find it distracting. And I don't.
It
Yeah.
can get that way. Like if I'm using it, I like max 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I'm sure you guys the spirits here are annoyed by this sound, and I am too, so I'm turning it off. But
Yeah.
and that's one of those that using white noise or a ghost box, more so a ghost box, is kind of a it's either loved or hated in the
Yeah.
paranormal field. And my thinking again goes back to, well, why not? But there are, if you can set some sort of controls for, and do an experiment, then that's, that could be pretty interesting. But I'm trying to get away from the sweep and just use stack just for investigation purposes to see if I can get something to come through.
Yeah, I don't hear very well. I'll be honest with you. I have a hearing disability. So audio doesn't work real well for me. It has to be more visual. And that's probably why I get good pictures and stuff, because I try to listen to EVPs and people tell me, did you hear that? And I'm like, I heard static. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Pamela wants to know, ever have a spirit that doesn't want you to leave?
Yeah, I think I've experienced that before. And I think when it's happened to me, it's been like something where like that was all I could really think about for a couple days. And I'm like, okay, so part of them came with me.
Yeah.
And, not wanting me to
Yeah.
leave, and then I have to try and send it back, But I guess I've experienced a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Most of
I
the time,
have
they're
too.
probably annoyed with me, and they're like, quit asking questions, leave,
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. I've had that too, where someone tries to come home with me, but I do, make a point of saying when I leave a location, I go to my house, you stay at your house. We're not doing a slumber party. So
Yeah.
Robin said that she used to hear someone singing through the gas heater, and Pamela says, so happy to hear that. Lately, hear old music through fans. Yeah. And Nikki, I remember the singing through the heater, Robin. Keith is a psychopomp. He helps spirits who want to cross over. So he helps them cross over. That's what he does. So they go to his house.
Oh boy.
And so
take a ticket.
Take a ticket. He handles it well, though. He handles it well. Yeah. It is fun how the spirits how they communicate with different people different ways too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced that, like when you're in the presence of another medium, do they communicate with you differently than they communicate with the other person?
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Ever had a spirit show up in the back of your car on the interstate?
I have, but it was somebody I knew. So it wasn't a hitchhiker. It's usually one of my grandfathers will show up in the back seat when I'm driving down the road.
Okay. Yeah, I have it happen a lot when I'm alone in the car. My stepdad will sometimes show up, and then we have the same argument we have every time, get that horrible whiskey smell out of my car, or I'm not talking to you. And, you know, so I've had that. And I've also had, shortly after I started channeling in 2007, I was driving down the coastal highway on the West Coast, going from Washington to Oregon. And a spirit jumped into my body who didn't know how to drive my car. So that was an interesting experience.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that can get real unsafe.
yeah, real quick. That is where I learned the importance of having a contract with the universe when you're doing spiritual work.
Set those boundaries.
Set the boundaries. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So Robin has a question. What's your favorite story of communicating with the other side?
Oh, my gosh, I don't know. There's seems to be so many. I mean, the Filipino one. That's
That's a good one.
that's up there.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, I guess I guess one time I had done a private, private home, and it was 3 different locations in close area, but we had to drive to the other locations. And so I was doing 3 locations, and it was just like I was either there at the right time, or all the spirits that I encountered were waiting for me, because it was like 6 hours straight, nonstop. The only break I had was driving to the next place. And even then, more information was still coming. And I would say that was just so intense, because it was like 6 hours nonstop. And I actually had to I tried to take notes at first, then it was just coming in so fast. I actually had to have the client follow me around with a notepad, and she was
Wow.
taking all these notes. And it just seemed like all the names, everything was getting validated for like 6 hours straight. And I was getting really weird details too. Like, I got this lady who, in one of the locations, hated dogs. She was a cat person, hated dogs. And I figured out, where she hangs out, and the people were like, "Oh yeah, the dogs will not go in that side of this room." At
Wow.
all. But it was all stuff like that, like just weird validated stuff for like 6 hours straight. And so that was probably my favorite, because it was just like boom, 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 boom. Everywhere I looked, everywhere I went, it was like, yeah, this happened, this person, da, 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 da. And so that was pretty cool.
So that night, did you sleep well, or were you too wired to sleep?
I was pretty wiped afterwards.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure you were.
I drank a lot of water through the whole thing, but I was pretty wiped for the next day or so after that.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Barbara. Hey, Barbara. Thanks for joining us. I do want to answer Nikki's question too. My favorite ever was I had already done a reading for a woman who was terminally ill, and she wanted to talk to her father. So I talked to him. And then she called me sometime later. I don't remember how much later, and asked me to do a family Christmas party over a conference call with her dad. So I was able to help him have a Christmas party with his, I think it was 7 adult children, over a
Wow.
conference call. This was like pre-Zoom, like before Zoom. So it was all on a conference call, and it was absolutely amazing to be able to be his voice for his family for
Wow.
Christmas one
That's
last time.
awesome.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That one really sticks with me. And I want to say hi to Jessica. She just popped in. Barbara says that she had a bluebird at her window for 6 weeks, window of whatever room I'm in. So the bluebird moved around with her. That's interesting.
That's really cool. It sounds like a sign to me.
It does. I'm not sure what the sign is, but definitely sounds like a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool. I just want to make sure we're not missing anything here. It's going pretty quick.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jessicat's still listening out there. She was talking about her friend's mom keeps popping in, and I keep getting the name Carmen and Barbara as well. So I'm wondering if that might be the mother's name or her friend's name.
Okay. No, Keith, that wasn't the swearing one. Keith is asking if a spirit has ever knocked something from your hand.
I'm generally clumsy. So that's a tough one to answer. I don't know. Not that I can think of.
Jessica says she's here. Mary Phipps said, "Hi, Pete."
Okay.
Hi,
Mary.
Jessica says that her name is Anna, and my friend and her mom, I forgot.
Okay.
So
yeah, I just kept getting a C first, and then I kept thinking Carmen, and then I started thinking Barbara. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Interesting. Let's see. I want to make sure I haven't missed any questions because you guys are being so great with coming in with questions. I really appreciate that. Keith, I'm not sure what you mean by past family member. Oh, the bluebird. The bluebird could have been a past family member. Got it. Okay. Pam says, my great uncle is around when there's crazy amount of male cardinals.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. I had a cardinal fly in front of my car today, and I'm like, well, which one of the 1,000 people I know who passed over is this? I mean, because I know a cardinal has never come to me before, so it's not like I equate it with someone in particular. So I thought that was interesting. Jessica wants to know, so what are you getting, Pete, from her?
Hang on. Come back on that. I'm seeing if I get anything.
Okay.
Isn't it weird that like you always hear about cardinals as being carrying a spirit, and that they're a sign? Like, what is it about cardinals? Is it just
I've
because
always wondered that too. I don't know. I don't know what it
Blue
is.
Jays, I think Blue Jays might be another one. Crows. I used to be in a band called French Fry Crow, because it was, you never know who it is begging outside your car for French fries. So don't forget to give the crows a French fry too.
Yeah. There you go.
But, some birds, owls, often associated with the dark, with, the other side.
Mhm.
But cardinals, it's always like cardinals or Blue Jays. I don't know.
Yeah. Some people equate eagles too. Like, they know that their dad is there when they see an eagle or something. Let's see. Pamela. Oh, she didn't know that about cardinals and says that he was a cop.
Okay.
And someone has a middle-aged man waiting in the back of their car. That sounds like a warning.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary says it's ladybugs for her. We get different signs. For me, I get odors. Like if I smell Lily of the Valley perfume, I know it's my grandmother.
Nice.
That kind of stuff. Eagles show change. That's what Jessica Adams said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think ravens and crows are also messengers, if I remember correctly.
So for Jessica, to kind of follow back up, I don't know if your friend like maybe is about to sign something, I don't know if it's a contract, a deal. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the mom's trying to say she needs to do, like, hold off. She needs to do more research on, might be something big that she's got going on. I'm not sure. I get that sense that it's like signing of something, like don't sign it yet. That's what I get.
Interesting. Okay. And I didn't tune into it because she specifically asked you, so I didn't tune in. Keith says that I said it sounded like an ominous warning with a middle-aged man waiting in the back of a car. And he said, LOL, nope, he's just waiting for help. Might be Pete.
Like I'm there?
Well, no, like there's somebody in your car waiting for you to get help.
Oh, well, I hope not. My wife and kids are in the car.
I hope not too.
Wow.
Jessica says, thank you. I'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be something like that. Like whatever it is, like she needs to like maybe talk to more people, uh, and maybe talk to more. She needs to get some other female advice to go along. Like not don't ask a guy. Like don't do more research, through a guy, but it's more like she needs to ask there's a someone in her life, a woman that she can ask advice on what she should do next. I think it's something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, let's see. Pete hopes that there's nobody in his car because his wife and kids are in his car right now. So
yeah, they can come here. They can come here if they need help.
There you go. There you go. I'm so glad everybody has come up with these questions today, because I can't believe it's almost 9 o'clock already, or 7 o'clock in your case.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how fast this hour went. This is unbelievable.
Flies by.
It really does fly by. And I want to thank you. I know you're really wiped out from your day job, and I want to thank you for being here tonight.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, Pam asks, what about coyotes? Any thoughts on the meaning of a howling pack? I can answer that from a Native American standpoint. Coyote is considered to be a trickster and teaches through opposite, if that makes sense, like teaches through opposites.
Yeah, I would maybe just add that when you hear that, what is it about the howl that makes you think there's something? Like, what is the root? Like, when you hear it, what makes you think, could this be spiritual? Explore that, get that answer, and then you'll find some meaning to it, or you'll find maybe a message from somebody.
Oh, Jessica wanted us to show. Yeah, thank you for that. Pam says she's living in a Native American area. Jessica said that something interesting happened to her today. Today I was being negative, my thoughts as in feeling lost, but once I went outside, an owl feather blew in my direction. So funny thing is, like spirit knew I was going to Sage today. LOL. So I guess they wanted me to use the owl feather. I don't know, or it's a sign. Yeah, owls are messengers too. Owls definitely are messengers from the spirit world, where they bring. I don't even know how to explain it, because I know I've experienced that with an owl, but it's like bringing positive when you're feeling down. It's like they bring positive energy. If that makes sense, the way I said it.
Totally. I always got an owl. With me.
Awesome.
You can see that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thanks. Oh, and Nikki said, so we're talking about signs tonight, apparently. Yeah, Nikki said that when she was going through a rough time recently, and anytime I needed a boost, I would see butterflies. It gave me hope and lightened my load. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Feels like the evening is wide open. Yes. It felt like a warning. The coyotes, I'm sure, is what she's referring to, but not sure why or where it's coming from. Okay. You're welcome, Jessica. An owl is not necessarily a mood guide, Keith. It's a messenger from the spirit world. So in this case that we were just talking about, she was feeling down, she was feeling negative, and an owl feather came to her to help her lift her mood and smudge. Yield. Oh, not that. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Lots of comments. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm loving all these comments tonight. I don't know. Can we?
Y'all come watch my show tomorrow night and comment.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jessica even cried. All right, with the owl feather. All right.
Well, it must have meant something.
Yeah. All right. So, you're welcome, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Stacy wants to know, what does it mean when people who read me recently see a door above my head? Am I a reader myself?
Possibly.
Interesting. Possibly. Yeah. I'm just going to tune into this real quick. I know we're going to go a minute or two over here. I definitely see a door as, a passageway. Oh, it wasn't a question. She is a reader herself. Okay.
No, that was a question. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, how's the empath part going? Like, hopefully, you didn't let everybody in at once. You know,
Yeah.
pace yourself.
Yeah. Um,
Or maybe it's the doorway. You're supposed to help. Maybe she's supposed to help spirits trying to cross over.
that could be,
That she's got a door they can use. That
that's a
would be another.
possibility.
Yeah.
Or a door opening to a new level of understanding. That's a possibility too.
Yeah. One question I would ask is it multiple different readers that are giving you the same thing, that's they're all seeing this door, and do you see the door yourself, I would ask.
Yeah. Stacy, do you see the door yourself? I think that would have greater meaning. Michelle says new opportunities behind the door. And is the door open or closed? That's another question too. Wow. This has been really awesome. I want to thank you, Pete, for being here. Oh, and I was going to ask you, is your band playing anywhere anytime soon?
I think we got a gig coming up August 7th, summer fair here in Littleport Gamble, right across Puget Sound from Seattle. So we'll be playing an outdoor gig. Those are always fun. And then
Awesome.
we're working on recording a bunch of new material. So
Cool.
yeah, so we got to get another album out hopefully by the end of the year, or at least an EP. So we've been working a lot on some new songs, and it's called Steady Rock Cosmonaut. So, and it's good vibes for any time.
Excellent.
So,
Where can people find your music?
everywhere you can stream music, just look up Steady Rock Cosmonaut.
Awesome.
Or there's steadyrockcosmonaut.com if you want to go to the website.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Wonderful stories. Thank you for listening. And Stacy, yeah, I would say that what I'm feeling about the door is that it's opening. You can open it up to reach higher levels. Yeah. That's what I'm feeling. Let's see. Oh, Nikki says, you guys are awesome and have both helped me over the years. I think it's awesome you two came together tonight to do a show. Hope there are more planned for the future. This was so cool. We can do that. We can do another show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We might have to do like some kind of radiothon or something. That might be fun, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Thank you, everyone, so much. I usually do a meditation at the end of the show, but we're already over the hours. So we're going to pass on the meditation tonight. And I will see all of you guys next week with my special guest. I love her name. Spring Holton will be with me next week. So thank you all very much and have a great week. Next time, bring chocolate. Awesome.
Thank you.